back in your life on this Monday, August 13th, 2018. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. So glad to have you here. Hope you had a lovely weekend back inside our New York City studio for another jam-packed show for all of you. This is a great day. Now, it's not really a great day. I walked into the studio today. It was raining. It was kind of depressing outside. I was a little bit down because of the weather and the summer's coming to an end and kids are going back to school. But I was thinking to myself, you know what? It was a relatively stress-free weekend. No UFC this weekend, no Bellator this weekend, and I don't mind that. I actually like the break. It was like a breath of fresh air. And I know some of you will say, oh, it's your job. You're supposed to want UFC action every single day, every single week, every single weekend. But you know what? Sometimes distance makes the heart grow fonder. It's okay to miss things. So I was okay with it. I didn't miss it all too much. And I think that by the time Gaethje and Vic fight on August 25th, we'll be excited. We'll be missing it. Like I said, sometimes it's good to get a little breather. So I had a nice little intro planned. I had a nice little, little pre-show idea that I'm going to talk about the break and the things that we have planned for the show and the things that we have to look forward to. But then I got the news that Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away at 63 years young. And I've mentioned this before. Bret Hart was my favorite pro wrestler of all time. I love Bret Hart. He was my guy. He might have been my favorite pro athlete, if you want to call him that, which I would call him that and did call him that and would still consider him that, between the ages of maybe like 6 and 10. I used to go, when I would go to the doctor and they would tell me to close my eyes, I'm about to get a shot, I would think about Jim and Bret, and I would think about Bret winning the belt, and I would think about the Hart Foundation. That was my happy place. And I find out that Jim Neidhart passed away at 63. According to multiple sources, WWE announced it as well. This really bums me out. I'm really sad right now. My heart goes out to Bret Hart and that entire family. His daughter, of course, who's in WWE. There's a picture that's floating around of the entire Hart Foundation standing together. The only one who's still alive is Bret Hart. This is a bummer. When I was an intern at HBO many moons ago, I worked on a story about wrestlers dying young, and it continues. We had Nikolai Volkov recently, Brian Lawler for different reasons as well. It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible trend. It does not go away. I'm really sad to hear about Jim Neidhart, and I just wanted to wish my condolences. And for whatever it's worth, dedicate today's show to him and his family. He was the ultimate wingman. He had Bret's back no matter what, through thick and thin. I don't think they ever had like a feud or an angle where they split apart, right? I don't think he ever turned on him once. That's special. That really is special. So I miss those guys. I miss that time, and I'm really sad to hear about that. So right now I have a heavy heart, but we're going to move forward and send our best wishes to the Neidhart family, the Hart family, everyone who knew Jim. Seemed like a great guy. All right, let's move along. The lineup today is stacked as always. Like I said, quiet time in MMA, not a quiet time on this show. We continue to roll along. We've got a super stacked show. We've got a who's who stopping by. So let me run down today's lineup, and then we'll get to our first guest of the day, a guest that I know a lot of you are looking forward to hearing from. Sean O'Malley will stop by at 4:25. He's got some news. Kevin Lee will stop by at 4:05. He's got some news as well. Derek Brunson is going to stop by, talk about his fight against Israel Adesanya. 3:25, we'll talk to Santiago Ponzinibbio about his effort to get on the Argentina card. Corey Anderson apparently has a beef with me. We'll find out why at 3:05. Paige Van Zandt, haven't talked to her in some time. What's up with her arm? What's up with her fiance? What's up with her marriage coming up in a few weeks? We'll talk to her about all that and a whole lot more. Alex Hernandez has a beef with the UFC rankings, I'm told. Talk to him about that at 2:25. We'll check in with Mickey Gall, who I haven't talked to in almost a year, at 2:05. Curtis Blaydes wants a fight against Stipe Miocic. We'll talk to him at 1:45. And Marlon Moraes is also mad at me, I'm told, because he said that I had 3 of the bantamweights gunning for TJ Dillashaw's title, and I didn't talk to him last week, so he wants a piece of the action. But first, my friends, there's only one way I wanted to start today's show. It was with the now former UFC flyweight champion. It still feels weird to say that, but most importantly, it's with the birthday boy. How great is Demetrious Johnson? He told his wife, he told his family, the only way I want to spend my 32nd birthday is on Ariel Helwani's new ESPN show. That is the truth. That is what I've been told. Is that accurate, Demetrious Johnson?
You bet your sweet ass is.
Yes.
How you doing today, my friend?
Yes, DJ, my man. Happy birthday. It's your birthday today, right?
Yes, sir, it is.
Happy birthday. 32 years young. You don't look a day older than 21. It's unbelievable.
It's great skincare. everybody thinks I'm sweating when I'm online. They're like, Jesus, are you sweating? I'm like, no, I just have perfect skincare. So, good diet, good skincare, and you age gracefully.
Are we doing anything fun today? Did we do anything over the weekend? What are the plans?
We had a birthday party yesterday. We had close friends come over. We just barbecued and hung out. The kids played. And then today we got a pre-op for the wifey. And then we're going to the dump, throw some stuff away. And then we'll come back home and play World of Warcraft. Battle for Azeroth comes out today. So on the game today, my friend.
How is your wife feeling?
She's feeling fantastic. She went to the gym like 5:45 this morning, working out, making me look bad. So she's still doing good. She's still doing her.
Okay. Well, we wish her the best. I know the last couple of weeks are the hardest. She's looking great. She's apparently feeling great. So hang in there, Destiny. We're all pulling for you, and I know it's going to be a very exciting time for the family. So, DJ, a lot of people have wanted to hear from you, and I have to say, from afar, I've been so impressed. We are used to in this sport, someone loses a belt, someone loses a big fight, they kind of disappear for a little bit. That's typically the norm. You picked up, 4 hours later, you're doing Instagram stories, you're joking about your foot. It's been amazing to see how you dealt with your first loss in all these years, and your first loss as a flyweight. Could I just ask right off the bat, first loss in all these years, first loss as a flyweight, 9 days later, has it sunk in? Are you okay with all of this, or is there a fire burning inside?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I passed it, when I was training, I can't remember how long ago it was. It was a long time ago. And a guy who was training with, he goes, I love about you, DJ. I go, what's up, dog? He goes, you're never bothered by the outcome. You don't let the outcome of your fight dictate what you do in life. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, dude, you defended your title 3 times. You're still in here training with a smile on your face. You're still having fun. You're still mopping the mat. And, you come in here like you're a student. I was like, that's because I still am a student. So, and even, after 11 consecutive title defenses, every single time I won them, I've always showed my opponents respect and reward. When I beat him, I said, congrats to being a dad. It's the best team. When I beat John Dotson, I actually found his phone before we fought at the weigh-ins, and I gave it to him, and I said, congrats to being the father. So, for me, there's no bad blood whatsoever, and I'm going to keep it going, man. I tell everybody when I'm streaming, when I win my fights, I come on the stream, I'm very graceful, and I thank everybody for praising, and I tell them, when I lose, I'm going to be back on the stream, continue to stream, and, you can't go 6 years with beating everybody up, and then when you get your first fight, you can't, pout about it and, throw a fit. So, for me, I'm okay with it, man, and just keep moving forward, and now it's about just getting healthy and see what's next.
Okay, how is your foot and how is your knee?
Boom. Okay, so foot, there's no broken bones, but there's still a little swelling. So if I touch the top of my foot, there's still just a little pain. I think that's the blood reside on the foot. And the knee. So I got MRI results. I have a high-grade partial tear in my LCL, and I have a high-grade partial tear in my popliteus. And then right now, I've been suffering some pain in my lower calf area where you have the calf, you have a piece of meat, and then you have your Achilles tendon. So in that area right there, I've been having excruciating pain. I can't even sleep at night. I'm waking up just sweating in bed. So the USCPI physical therapist thinks I might have a possible tear in my Achilles into my calf.
Oh.
That's not for certain. So I'm trying to get him to see an ortho to see how high the grade is of the tears, my popliteus and my LCL. And then hopefully we can see what's going on in my calf too. So, that's part of the game.
Wow. Okay. So do you know if you might you maybe need surgery, or even if that is what it is, you won't need surgery?
I don't think I should, but it all depends on the severity of the tear, right? Because when I read the MRI, it just says high-grade partial tear in LCL, and I'm like, okay, is that a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3? Typically, grade 3, you need, surgery. Grade 2 is, 6 weeks off, rehab and all that stuff. It feels like a grade 2 because I've had a tear in my left LCL before, and so, right in the fight when it happened, I felt the pop go, and the first thing in my mind goes, oh, that's fantastic. There goes the right LCL. And then, so I know, when Kayla Price, which is my medical staff at the UFC, she was like, you know your body too damn well. I was like, why? She goes, yeah, you have a tear in your LCL and your popliteus. And I was like, yeah, I figured it was. So.
Wow. And both these injuries happened in the fight?
Yeah, it happened in the fight. I remember, like, I think it was either second or third round. I remember it was in like a scramble. I was probably defending a takedown. And I remember I rolled over my knee and I felt the pop, and I was like, shit. There was right LCL, and then, there's nothing you can do. You can't say timeout. You can't say timeout. Hey,
Right.
hey, 1 second now. This hurts now, so you're gonna have to back off and neglect that. But I'm in there fighting for money, so I'm like, all right, it's a party. Let's make everything hurt. And I just kept fighting.
As I've been watching you post-fight, your demeanor, the way you're handling things, and again, very admirable. I'm sort of reminded of Anderson Silva in a weird way, because I remember Anderson Silva saying after the Chris Weidman fight, after he lost the belt, that the weight of the belt, was so overbearing that it's kind of nice not to be champion for a little bit. Is any of that coming into play here? Is it just kind of nice not being champion and not having to deal with that streak anymore?
Well, it wasn't. I think, from Anderson Silva's thing, I think it might have come from, people criticizing his fighting style or how he carried himself as a champ. And I never let that bother me. Like, people are like, oh, he doesn't sell, and you're boring, and you're ruining the flyweight division. But it's funny enough, like, get over it. Then have somebody beat it, and they can, take the torch and try to take it to, Valhalla or the glory days or whatever you guys are, think you're missing. And there's a part of me, it's like, I'm okay with it. I think for the wife, I think she's like, there's like a relief. I feel relief that you're not champion anymore. You sit here, relax and chill, and sit like this. So for me, I never felt like a responsibility as a champion to do it. Like my job was to go out there and fight and display, great mixed martial arts.
Is it weird having people, because I'm assuming this happens, like almost offer condolences? It's almost like you died, right? That's how I feel like it is people say, I'm so sorry. And you clearly aren't down about it, but I feel like people are down around you and feel like they have to be down towards you. Do you get that a lot, and is that awkward?
Yeah, but my friends and family, they're all good. Like, when I came back home and my wife was very worried about how it would be mentally, and I told her, she was like, "Are you okay? How are you doing?" I was like, "Babe, I'm fine." I was like, it's not like I went out there and got blown out the water. You know what I mean? Like, I've been rocked. Like when I got hit by John Dodson, I'm like, oh my God, like you are concussing me, my friend. Like you are a monster. You hit hard, and when I fight Dom, he's there suplexing me left and right. So I've come out of fights where I'm like mentally demoralized, where I'm like, damn, dude, like mostly when it was Dom, when he was just throwing around, he was just so big. But with this one, I was like, I guess it is what it is, And so with this one, I'm fine. People are like, I'm so mad at you. Like, you see a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram, like, man, you got robbed, man. Like, you should be champion. So I was like, guys, don't waste your energy. Like, I truly appreciate, all the love and support, but, it is what it is. And I see other people out there, when they're like, I won that fight. I'm like, don't waste your energy, dude. Like, what you think, it might matter to you or to the public, but for me, it's like, hey, the judges, scored it, and it wasn't like he got me down. It wasn't like he postured up past my guard and started doing submissions, and it was just more he would just hold me down, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to get up, and I couldn't, and that's what it was. It wasn't like he outstruck me or anything like that. And when people are like, dude, you killed him on the feet, and then I was like, really? Did I? And then when I see the numbers, I'm like, oh, good. I guess so. That's awesome.
Have you watched the fight in its entirety yet?
I have.
Do you think you won the fight?
I should have done more. I should have done more. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say what the judges are looking for, right? Like, if I look at it as a standpoint as somebody who is, landing shots, if the roles were reversed and if I would have taken him down, I knew I would have passed guard. I knew I would have got, my signature game going on. I knew I would have mounted. Typically when I take people down, I never sit in guard. I never sit in half guard. I'm always posturing. I'm always looking to pass. I'm always looking to start, my submission game. He didn't necessarily do that. He wanted to hold me down because it's hard to get a hold of me. So a guy at the gym, I was at the gym on Saturday, he goes, you know what pisses me off about that fight, DJ? And I was like, what? And he goes, somebody can become a world champion by just holding you down. Literally just holding you down. I was like, nah, it's my fault. I should have got up. I should have, elevated him. I should have went to his legs and looked for a heel hook. I should have popped my hips and, went to a knee bar. I should have done more. So for me, I look at it as like I should have done more. I should have let my hands go a little more instead of like, oh man, I won that fight. I should have did more.
Okay, but when you're watching it, are you actually scoring the rounds? Like, can you say confidently you won 3 out of those 2 rounds? Or excuse me, 5, 3 to 2, 3 to the 5?
It's hard. I feel like the toss-up one is probably like I only watched the fight once, and I haven't really sat down to sit there and score it like a judge. But I think the hardest one would probably be the second round because I felt like, that when he got me down and he like held me in that half guard and held me there, then I kind of finished the round. He finished round on top, and then there was an article by USA Today when it was like the unified rules. That's the new one that they come out with, and they're like, if somebody gets taken down and they cannot implement any damage whatsoever, then the judges would not score or the takedown as much. I guess. And I remember before we went out there to fight, our referee, he says, all right, why don't you know you're fighting under the unified ABC rules, whatever the hell it is. And I'm like, so does that mean I can knee him in the head when his hands are down, or what's going on? I'm not getting. He goes, no, it's ABC. He kept on repeating that to me, but I had no idea what the hell he meant. So, but if I was to say, I just know what he meant. I was like, can I knee him on the head or the ground or not? You're not. I don't understand. But then after the fight, one of my coaches goes, no, the rules he was talking about was how they score the takedowns and whatnot.
Yeah. That's crazy that you're in a title fight and you've defended the belt 11 times, and even you are confused about this, as are we. But I think that, I like to call them the divided rules of MMA. I think that speaks to that point. Okay, so fair enough. You did not get on the mic afterwards and say, obviously title shot again, rematch. Obviously I've earned this, winning as champion of all time. You didn't do that even backstage. You haven't done that on social media, which is kind of the norm. Why not?
Because I'm focused on getting healthy. I'm not, at the end of the day, I have some injuries I need to take care of. And obviously, I want to get that one back. But I'm not going to stop another person from making money when he's a champion. He wants to go out and defend the belt. Like if Henry's like, hey, I want to fight at, December, the end of the year card. I'm healthy enough. Give me a challenger. Go ahead. Go ahead, do it, Henry. Go do your thing. If he's going to be a champion for a long time, we will. Our roads will cross again. But my main focus right now is getting healthy. Back in the day, even when I wouldn't fight, I'm like, I'm ready to fight again. I'm ready to get back into it. I signed a contract. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I need surgery because my body's not completely healed. So I'm in a different state of mind now where it's about getting healthy, take care of my body, make sure I get through training camp. Then once that comes, I sit down with my team, my management, and then we look at what we're going to do next. And I want to make sure I'm making the right decision, for me and my family. So I'm not a person who's going to get on, Twitter and just yap my gums. I'm like, oh, this is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather spend my energy doing other things, which is focus on getting healthy, trying to figure out what's wrong with my knee, my calf, all that stuff. Everybody else can do their thing and try to figure out what he wants to do next. That's his career. He's a champ now. He can do what he wants. Congrats to him and his team. I'm focused on Demetrious Johnson.
Do you want to fight again this year? If all goes well, is that your goal?
I would like to, but the way the injuries are looking, man, I don't think it's going to happen. I have my baby girl is going to be born here any day now. I still got to figure out, my knee situation. So if it's a grade 2 tear to LCL, that's going to take 6 weeks. Okay, then after that 6 weeks, I got to strengthen my leg again. I can't just jump right into immediate training camp. So I'll strengthen the leg again. I have TwitchCon, I have BlizzCon coming up. I have other stuff going on outside of mixed martial arts. So the likelihood, if I can, pinpoint a date when I'm going to fight again, it's probably me in 2019. But as, we'll see. It's all pretty good in the body now. I'm at 24 where I go out there and take all this damage, and next thing you know, I heal up within, 4 to 6 weeks. When I fight now, my body's getting tore up.
Okay, you watch him, do these interviews, photos, all that stuff and more. He's holding your belt. Does that not feel weird a little bit?
No, I got 3 belts downstairs in the closet.
Wait, what? What was that?
I said, no, dog. I got 3 belts downstairs in the closet.
I know, but that's you were the guy. You were the only guy. And now there's someone else parading.
No, I understand. No, it's called reality, man. Like, I knew, my day was going to come. That's just the pure reality of the sport of mixed martial arts. Every great champion lost. I mean, GSP lost to Matt Serra. Anderson Silva lost to Chris Weidman. Emelianenko's lost. I can just go down the list of the best champions in mixed martial arts who should be in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, have lost. And so for me, I look at every single person that's lost as a champion, like Ronda, Conor, Ben Henderson, Frankie Edgar, Josie Aldo, Hannah Brown, TJ Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz. I can go off the list. I've been there when they've all lost. Every single one of them have lost, and I'm still being the champion. And I sit there and I take something from those guys, and I see like how them losing affects them. And I look and I'm like, that's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to let this belt dictate what I do in life and who I am in life. Right? This is basically a token of me being the best martial artist, but it's not who Demetrious Johnson is. It doesn't display what my skill set and what my passion is for mixed martial arts. Like, that was just something that came down the road. I talk about all the time. Like, man, what should I do if I want to get into UFC and I want to be mixed martial arts? Like, one, that's the wrong way to look at it, my personal opinion. Because when I started doing mixed martial arts, it was never to be a world champion. It was never to be in the UFC. This didn't even exist. The lowest weight class I had was 155. Then they got rid of it. Then it went to 170. So for me, I look at it as that I'm passionate about learning mixed martial arts, and this is where my path is taking me. Just because I lost the belt doesn't mean, my path is going to stop. I'm going to continue my journey to keep getting better, and that's it. So I don't let that, see another dude. I mean, sure, I only know Henry could, defend his belt 2 times, and I come back and beat him, or I can, go in there and fight him for his 3rd time, and I can lose again. And next, he fights Joseph, and Joseph beats him. Then I come back and beat Joseph, and I get the belt. Then there's just so much that can happen. So for me to sit here and, mope and groan and see, another man with my belt, not if it was my wife, I'm gonna get the Glock and take care of some things. But that's not the case.
And you are going to keep fighting, right? I mean, this hasn't changed or affected your passion.
No, absolutely not. My passion is learning and keep on fighting. I got to get healthy. Right. Like I said, that's the biggest thing. Like, from this fight, the only thing that I'm very upset about is the injuries. Like, I hate getting injured. It's one of the things that, you can't fight forever. And I tell a lot of the young guys, too. Me and Sugar, O'Malley, we hung out at the E3, and I tell them, like, dude, keep on winning, save your money, because you never know when your fight is going to go out on you. You just never know. So, for me, it's the injuries from this fight that irritate me the most than the fight itself.
One of the first things he said after he won the fight was, I'm going to do what DJ didn't do. I'm going to go up to 135. TJ's team is saying, we're going to go down to 125. What do you make of all this? Now you're not involved anymore. You're on the outside looking in. What do you make of this talk?
I think it's good for them. If that's what they want to do, let them do it, I think if I read somewhere TJ said he woke up, he was weight cutting, he hit 133. So if he wants to do it, go have him do it, I mean, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it at all. Let them do what they want to do, dog. That's them.
Is there any part of you, DJ, that feels like maybe you won't get a fair shake now that you're not the champion anymore? Because let's be honest, you haven't seen eye to eye with UFC brass over the last year or so. That now they maybe we don't have to deal with DJ anymore. Let's go give the next big fight to this guy or that guy. Is there any part of you that's worried about that?
I'm not worried about it because I know I'm going to be successful wherever I'm at, whether it's me not getting a fair shake, if it's me, at the end of the day, that's going to be something my management is going to have to deal with because I don't, talk to the UFC brass because I can't hold back my emotions and I just keep it real. So I let those guys, Nazi, Abe, those guys have been fantastic first round management with handling with the UFC. And then, like I said, once I get healthy, we'll sit down with those guys and we'll see what we're going to do and then go from there.
The big talk going into that fight, as you know, was Henry Cejudo has improved exponentially. And you said, what do you think I was doing the last 2.5 years? I've been improving as well. Now that you fought him, can you say that he is a much better fighter than the one you fought at 197?
It's hard to say because it's more of the patience. Like, when I notice the most about this fight and when I sit back and watch it, and even in the fight, he was just patient. Like, that's, like, it wasn't like he came out with, an amazing clinch game and he was throwing high kicks and he was, he was taking me down, but it wasn't like he postured up and passed guard. Like, for example, like my teammate who just fought on Saturday, I trained with him, I've seen him grow, and like he's going out there. This guy trained in the Wushu temple, never wrestled in his day in his life, and this guy's lighting this dude up. And it was the champion coming out to fight him. It was a 155-pound champion coming out to 145 to fight him, and he just lit this dude up. And then I was like, holy shit, dude, you're improving. Like, you're doing submissions off your back. Just the overall game. So when I see people who improve, it's not the proving of a fight. It's a proving of the skill set of that athlete, if you know what I mean. So I would say just patience and he's kind of got a way about how he goes about fighting now. Because if I were to say he improved, then when he took Sergio Pettis down, he would have sucked him back. He would have went for an armbar. He would have, tried to Kimura him, all that stuff, but he just rode him on the back. So, but his patience has gotten a lot better. Like, he's understanding how to be patient, and that's why when I was fighting him, I was just leg kicking the shit out of him because he was waiting for me to cross distance. He was waiting for me to cross distance to counter me. And so when somebody's doing that in a fight, I'm like, I'm going to kick your leg. So I'll kick his leg, and then he would spin around. I'll kick it again, spin around. Granted, those leg kicks didn't amount more in the judge's eyes instead of his takedown. So that's like, for me, as a judge, I will sit there and look back like, okay, so what's going on here? And then I'll look, okay, Cejudo is not crossing distance. He is crossing distance at this moment, and he's kicking his leg, okay? Or he kicks his leg, now he's trying to take him down. So for me, that's why I don't talk about fighting or I don't talk about how I score fights, because that's what goes to my mind, because I've been spending so much time with Matt Hume. When he judges Pride and Dream fights, he goes, you don't score a fight by rounds. You score a fight as a whole, because one guy can just, get beat up for 3.5 minutes, and next thing you know, I think somebody for 3.5 minutes, and then he gets a takedown and holds him for the 1.5 minutes, and he wins the round. And it's like, well, he didn't do anything. To where my coach said, out of the whole entirety of the fight, I think I was on my back for maybe 2 to 3 minutes of 22 minutes. And so you score the fight like that, it's like, well, there's not too much. So that's when people are like, damn, who did someone fight? I'm not even going to get into it, because that's where my brain goes. I start going into technical mode and be like, hey, everyone's like, who you got, Conor or Habib? Well, let's think. Well, if Habib gets Conor down, passes guard, starts a submission game, and mounts him, and then Conor might turtle, and Conor turtles. He's been there before. Nate Diaz choked him out, so that's a possibility. Or that's where my mind starts to go, and that's why I don't like talk about fighting with people, because I don't want to take them on that journey.
Do I have time for 2 more questions?
Of course you do.
Okay. I know you have to get to an appointment, so I just wanted to ask beforehand. Do you regret? I'll be fast. Do you regret not capitalizing in the first round when it seemed like he was having a hard time standing because of those kicks, and it seemed like his ankle was giving out? Do you regret in hindsight not capitalizing, putting more pressure on him because it seemed like he was having so much trouble?
When I look at it, I look at it as like when I was in the fight. I'm looking at it, I want to stalk him and make sure I pick my right shot. Pick the right shot I wanted to land. I didn't want to go in there guns blazing like that guy who got knocked out. He hurt the dude to the body. Scott Smith and Pete Hill.
Scott Smith, Pete Hill.
Yeah, he hit him in the body, and next thing you know, he got knocked out. So when I saw that, I saw an injured animal, and I was looking for the right kill shot to put him away. So I'm not the type of guy I wish he could or would have done this. I knew that that happened in the first round, and I didn't capitalize on it, and it is what it is. That's all I would say.
What advice, if any, would you give to Henry Cejudo now that he is the champion of the flyweight division? You were the face of that division forever. You know what it's like to be a champion. You went from, relatively unknown to considered one of the greatest fighters ever. That crown is a very heavy one. What advice, if any, would you give him?
Have fun. Enjoy it. Just do you. Don't worry about what people say. Don't worry about what people think about your style. Just do you. I mean, that's the best advice I can give somebody, Not just, flyweight, but any other champions that are going to be down the road, and, not just now, but in the future.
What a mensch you are, DJ. Honestly, I know you're about to get to an appointment with your wife. It's your birthday. You just lost 9 days ago, and so gracious. I wish we can clone you, and you continue to be the ultimate professional. Such a class act. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to cover your career through the ups and the downs now. So thank you so much for being you and for acting the way you do. And thanks for coming on today. And good luck with the injuries. And for now, most importantly, good luck to your wife with what's to come. A very exciting time for your family later this month.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. The career's not over yet. You're going to do a lot more covering. And I better have my Disney stock the next time we talk.
That's right.
Have a good day.
I'm working on that. There he is, Demetrious Johnson, Mighty Mouse himself. What a pleasure it is to talk to him. And every time I just walk away like this is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Whether you consider him number 1, number 2, number 5, number 10, he is in that conversation. And look at the way he conducts himself after a loss of that magnitude. 11 straight title defenses. Hadn't lost in 6 years. Look at the way he conducts himself. It's truly, it's amazing. It really is. What a pleasure. Truly enjoyed that as well, and wish him the best, again, as far as the injuries, and his wife, who's about to give birth to their first daughter, third child, first daughter, later on this month. Very exciting time for the Johnsons, and I have a feeling if the MMA gods are just, and we know they're not always just, I have a feeling he'll get another crack at that belt at some point. If he doesn't, it's the greatest crime in the history of the sport. All right, let's move along. Last week, one of the big topics, of course, was who is going to fight TJ Dillashaw for the 135-pound title next. We assume he will remain at 135, even though both he and his coach, Dwayne Bang Ludwig, are talking about 125. It seems like there's just too much action at 135, too many contenders to have him go down. And so we talked to Dominic Cruz. We talked to Henry Cejudo. We talked to Rafael Sunsao. One man who we did not talk to is Marlon Moraes, who has a very, very, very strong case. And word on the street is he's not too happy with me. There he is. Marlon Moraes, my friend. How are you, Marlon?
I'm very good, man. Thank you for having me on. And I'm not mad with you. You can have whatever you want on your show, you know. That's okay. If you call Donald Trump, you have him, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm a fan. I'm always going to listen to your show.
And you know I love you, Marlon. I think very highly of you, and you have a very strong case. And I talked about you a lot last week, but in hindsight, I do feel bad that I had the three guys and not you. You felt slighted. Did you feel slighted? Did you feel like where's the love a little bit?
Not at all. I was just
come
joking.
On. All right. I think you're just being a nice guy now. But you know what? You do deserve to have your voice heard. You are in that running. I know you have the controversial loss to Sunsao. Do you feel right now like you are the most deserving guy to fight TJ Dillashaw next?
Yes, man. Why not? 100%. But I don't know. The situation now is kind of getting crazy because I feel like Dillashaw and Dwayne Ludwig, they're calling the shots, you know?
Yeah. They're talking about going to 125, you mean, right?
Yeah, they are matching me up with Dominic Cruz, match me up with other guys. Why, man? Why they are matching me up and they not just fight me, you know?
What do you make of that?
I saw interview and Dwayne Ludwig said that Dominic Cruz should fight me and TJ go down to 125. I don't agree with that. I think it's a bunch of contenders on a 35 division, and he got to defend. You know, he's the champion. He got to fight with the best.
What do you think happens right now? Do you have any kind of inkling as to what they're going to do in reality? Not going down to 125, which I feel like is a little far-fetched. A week later, what's your gut say?
I don't know, man. I did what I had to do, you know. I fought with the best. I never pick a fight. I been a champion in a different organization. I defend the title. And I had 4 fights in the UFC. I fought with the top of the top. And on my last 3 fights, I had 3 victories. And I beat the guys, you know, top guys. And the last 2 fights, I not just beat, but I brutally beat, you know. I think I make a strong case, like you said. And a lot of people want to see me locked in a cage with TJ.
Okay, so what do you say to the people who say, yeah, that's all true, but you do have a loss against Rafael Sunsao, who's in that mix as well?
Yes, but that was a controversial loss, but that's okay. Okay, they gave the victory for him, but I fought higher competition. You know, I have 3 fights. I'm straight. I fought tougher fights than he did his last couple. You know.
Yeah, so right now you feel like you should be the first guy considered, and then maybe a Sunsao beneath you, Dominic Cruz. How do you feel about his, he's talking about being the longest reigning champion. He hasn't fought in 2 years, but his last fight was for the belt. How do you feel about his case right now?
I feel like he had a long layoff, you know. I agree with him. He's one of the best ever. But we got to see how he is now, you know. Make a comeback, fight somebody else, and then see where you at, you know.
So this idea of you fighting Dominic next to sort of prove who's the number one you don't like that idea, it seems?
Man, if TJ goes down and vacate the belt, I'll be more than welcome with that opportunity. It's gonna be an honor for me to fight such a great fighter like Dominic Cruz, you know. I saw last week he said guys don't talk much about him, but I always talk about this guy, you know. He's one of the best, and I always look up to him. And if one day I have to fight him, I'm going to be down for it.
But for a belt, you just said, right? You said if TJ vacates the belt, you're not interested in fighting him in a number one contender fight?
Man, I have no idea what the UFC wants to do, you know. I'm gonna be down, and I'm not gonna say no. I just think I deserve the chance. I deserve to fight this guy, and I think if you wanna see who's the best, you gotta make the best fight the best. And I think I'm at the top now, and in a great moment in my career. I think that's the moment to make this fight happen. And people say, "Oh, lightweight guys hard to sell pay-per-views." But when you put me and TJ on the cage, it's like you watch a heavyweight fight. You know somebody's gonna go down.
Right. I feel like there is a chance that they might do Cruz versus Dillashaw. What do you think about you versus the Sun Sao 2? Because that was such a controversial fight to rectify it. What do you think of that?
If they do that, I'm fine. I'll fight him. I'll fight whatever. I want to be the number one, and I want to fight for the title.
Hmm. Did you? I'm assuming you did, but let me just ask: did you watch the Dillashaw Garbrandt fight from a little over a week ago?
Yes, I watch him 100%.
Yeah.
I love fights and two great fighters fighting. Of course I watch.
Okay. What do you think of Dillashaw's performance?
Amazing, man. He looked very good. All like mixed martial arts fighter. Mixing up everything. And it was a great fight, great performance, and he was able to capitalize on Cody's mistakes.
What was the biggest mistake, or what were the mistakes that Cody made in your opinion?
I think besides any technique, I think the biggest mistake was on his head. He wants this so much. I think when you want so much, you gotta be smart, and he wasn't very smart at this fight. But I'm not saying Cody is not a great fighter. He's a very good fighter, but just in this case.
What do you mean by that?
I think they had a beef before. They had a problem, the gym, the problems. He's not fighting only for himself, he's fighting for his team as well. And I think it's just so much going on in Cody's head when he's locked with TJ.
Do you think that it was a mistake to do the title fight for him, for Cody, right after he just lost the belt? Meaning, should he have fought someone else to try to get his confidence back, try to calm down a little bit, as opposed to going right back in there against TJ?
I don't know, man. I think it's on his team, because your team called the shots, and you too. And I would say I would like to see him getting one fight before get back with TJ.
Yeah.
TJ is such a highly fighter. You can't make mistakes. You gotta get in there with 100% sure you're gonna beat him, and sometimes you're not. So I think he took a chance and he lost again.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that, because I really feel like in MMA, and in particular the UFC, where everyone is so good, there's not a perfect word for it, but like a tune-up fight can go a long way, right? Just to get your confidence back, to work on things, to get a victory, get your hand raised, and then you go back into the title fight. But to do it back to back, I just feel like is asking for a lot of that fighter who's coming off the loss.
Yeah, it's just the way Cody fights too. He's a finisher. He goes for the finish, and you just got finished by some guy that's one of the best fighters in the world, and you're gonna fight him again. TJ's confidence was way higher. I think that make a big point.
What impresses you most when you watch TJ Dillashaw? What impresses you most about him?
I'm always impressed. Every time I watch him, he's always very creative, bringing new stuffs to his game. But I'm not surprised. I'm just impressed.
Okay. You last fought June 1st in Utica. You had that amazing knockout against Jimmy Rivera. Have they talked to you about anything as far as what's next yet? I mean, it's been almost 2.5 months now.
I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting for that opportunity. They know I'm down. I'm down for fights. I want to fight. I want to work, and I want to fight for the title. And let's see if they can put all that together.
Do you feel like there's a chance? How are you feeling? How confident
Yes,
are you?
I do think so. Especially now that I feel like TJ wants to do anything but not defend the belt. And I want to fight. Dominic Cruz said he wants to fight. And if he don't want to fight, just vacate and let us fight.
Hmm. You feel like him talking about 125 is a sign of him wanting to hold on to the belt but trying to get another without having to defend the belt that he has?
Man, to be honest with you, mostly of the fighters nowadays in the UFC, they just want to get to the belt to take layoffs,
Yeah.
days off, not fight, take care injuries. Man, if you're the best, you got to keep fighting. Just do it until you're not the best anymore, and then move it on.
It reminds me of someone who like climbs a mountain like Mount Everest. You get to the top, and then once you get to the top, you want to take a break. But are you telling us right here live on the program, you win the belt, you are going to be a fighting champion? You're not going to sit on the belt. You're going to be active, more active than ever.
Yeah, but you see Max Holloway, he's always trying to fight. He's stepping on different division. That's a fighter, That's a stud. He got the respect of everybody, 100%.
When do you want to return to action?
Sorry?
When do you want to return to action? Do you want to fight again this year? Are you hoping to fight in the fall? What are you thinking?
Man, I have to get back this year, I want to fight so bad, and I keep working with my team, and let's see what they're going to bring for me.
How many times have you watched that knockout of Jimmy Rivera? Such a quick fight. How many times do you watch it, honestly?
Maybe I watch 10 times,
It's incredible. You could watch it in one Instagram video. It's less than 60 seconds, that thing.
Yeah, maybe I watched 10 times. It was good, and it was a good state, and let's see if I'm going to have what I want.
Yeah. In the off season, so to speak, in between fights, how many abs do we have? Because usually you have like 10 abs. How many abs do we have right now?
Right
what do
now,
we have?
I'm light, man. I'm like probably 156, 158, I want to fight. I know UFC always like to bring big news, and I want to be one of the big news, and you got to be ready,
What happened to your eye, your right eye?
I got punched, man. I've been working.
Who punched you?
Somebody.
You don't want to say? Why? Why don't you want to say?
I don't know. You just get, I don't know
punched.
if it was a headbutt.
Oh.
I got hurt.
Okay, so it was illegal. It wasn't actual, because no one's punching you. You're too quick.
I think, I don't know. I think it was a headbutt. I don't know.
Okay. Was it Zabit's younger brother? I heard his younger brother is there, and he's schooling all of you.
Yeah, man, Zabit's around. When Zabit's around, everybody got black eyes.
No, but his younger brother. Isn't his younger brother there too?
Yes, his young brother's here. He's going to do his first amateur boxing fight.
Wow.
He's training hard, The kid's a stud, and he's going to be in the UFC 100% before 20. 100.
Wow. Yeah, your coach, Mark Henry, was singing his praises. By the way, how is Mark doing? I know he was very down on himself after the Eddie Alvarez fight. Is he better now? Is he feeling better?
Yeah, Mark is a great coach, and not just a coach. He's a good friend of everybody, And when we lose, he loses too, and he's hurt. He's still hurt, but we're going to get that back, and we're going to keep winning.
Okay. So what's the message to TJ Dillashaw? What do you want to say to him?
Defend or vacate, That's it.
But specifically defend against you.
Yes, against me.
You deserve it. You're fighting top guys. You're active. You're finishing people.
Yeah, man. And I'm taking off contenders, and when you take off in contenders, you became a contender. And I feel like now I'm the number one contender and the most entertaining fights that they can put together right now in the 35 division.
They don't call you the Magic Man for nothing.
Huh?
They don't call you Magic Marlon Moraes for nothing. You produce magic.
We're about to make some more magic happen. We just got to have a date and opponent.
Whether you get that title shot or not, I'm just happy that our feud is over, because this past week has been a nightmare for me. You, the nicest person in the world, I was told you were mad at me. Now I'm happy that we're not in a fight anymore.
Nah, we're not. We never been, my friend.
I don't want to live in a world where Marlon Moraes is mad at me. That's a bad world.
No, don't worry.
All right, cool. Well, good luck getting the fight. I hope I hope it works out for you. I know everyone's kind of campaigning right now. I would like to see TJ stay at 135, and I certainly think that you have a very strong case. So good luck getting it, my man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon. There he is, Marlon Moraes, stopping by, one of the top contenders at 135 pounds. He wants his title shot, and he doesn't want anyone to tell him no. And he has a strong case. There's no doubt about it. Him, Rafael Sunsao, Dominic Cruz, and Henry Cejudo is in the mix as well. All right. In a minute, we are going to be joined by Curtis Blaydes, who has some things that he wants to get off his chest as well. But first, before I get to Curtis, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. I know a lot of you play FanDuel. I know a lot of you visit their app and also visit their website, one of the leaders in daily fantasy. It's been a long offseason, as you know, without football, but FanDuel has spent it getting into the best shape of their lives. That means this. FanDuel is ready for more. More ways to play, more ways to challenge your friends, and most importantly, more ways to win. Everyone's excited about the Bills winning the Super Bowl this year. If you are not a daily fantasy expert, and if you haven't picked up any Bills players, then FanDuel is clearly the best place for you. They have all kinds of contests just for casual fans. In particular, Beat the Score contests are great because they pay out everyone who hits a certain score. So all you have to do is finish in the money to split an equal share of the cash. And FanDuel also has new options for playing daily fantasy with your friends. Because let's be honest, that's the only thing better than winning cash. That is, of course, winning your friends' cash. Best of all, FanDuel is doing their part to try to make the preseason bearable, and we all know that the preseason is no good. Guys are tearing their ACLs. Guys are getting injured. This is not fun. However, if you play preseason fantasy, you can have those contests up to week 1, so everything counts. That's very important. Right now, you can get $20 off when you make your first deposit on FanDuel. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Ariel. FanDuel.com/Ariel. Age and state restrictions apply. Age and state restrictions apply. It's a mouthful. FanDuel.com. We love them. Support them. They support us. Support them. Friends of the show. We love FanDuel. All right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much to Marlon Moraes. In a second, we're going to be joined by Curtis Blaydes, who has been active these days. He is on a roll. He's coming off that very impressive win over Alistair Overeem. Last saw him in action in June, UFC 225 to be exact. He has won his last, well, he's undefeated, I guess you can say, or unbeaten, because technically the Adam Milstead fight doesn't count. But last 6 in a row, Cody East, Adam Milstead, Daniel Omelianchuk, Alexei Oleinik, Mark Hunt, and Alistair Overeem. 2018 has been a phenomenal year for Curtis Blaydes. And if you follow him on Twitter, you will know that he has been active as of late, and he's been talking a lot about Stipe Miocic, which is an interesting fight, and I'm told that the UFC is interested in this fight as well. Whether Stipe is interested in it, well, that's a different question. He hasn't really weighed in on it. But if you look at the rankings at heavyweight, hard to argue against the fact that he does deserve a big fight. Brutal knockout of Alistair Overeem in the 3rd round back at UFC 225 with those elbows. Got a performance of the night bonus. Also got a performance of the night bonus against Cody East in his 2nd UFC fight. The lone blemish on his record, he is 10-1 with 1 no contest. The lone blemish is against Francis Ngannou back in Croatia. That was in his debut, which feels like it was so long ago, April of 2016. And like I said, since then, he is unbeaten in his last 6. After Curtis, we'll talk to Mickey Gall. Still to come, Alex Hernandez, Paige Van Zandt, Corey Anderson, Santiago Ponzinibbio. And I'm really looking forward to talking to Derek Brunson about his recent face-off with one Israel Adesanya in Los Angeles prior to UFC 227. Kevin Lee is still to come as well, and Sugar Sean O'Malley, who is telling us that he has some things to talk about as well pertaining to UFC 229. UFC 229 is coming up, of course, October 6th in Las Vegas. First reported by our own Brett Okamoto last week that the co-main event is going to be Derek Lewis against Alexander Volkov. And I know a lot of people were kind of like, what? Derek Lewis versus Alexander Volkov is the co-main event for a Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov card, arguably the biggest card in the history of this sport, and a fight card that I think can sell $2 million on its own, a fight card that I think can probably, people would buy that card on pay-per-view for $65 if it was just one fight being offered. Of course, that's not the case. They're going to give you a full fight card, but they don't have the same kind of incentive to load the deck, and I do think it's smart to not necessarily load the deck. Of course, from a economic standpoint, you can't put other champions on the card because other champions are going to command pay-per-view points. So if you put any other champion, the majority of UFC champions all get pay-per-view points. The majority of them don't draw 1 million, 1.5, 1.7 million pay-per-views. So I think that there's an incentive to not have them on the pay-per-view card so that you don't have to give them a piece of the pie. And also, you're probably thinking, all right, Conor and Khabib are going to draw on their own. We should, and I think this is actually smart, we should spread the love. Basically, You don't need to put 3 title fights on the card because 3 title fights, are needed. These other 2 title fights that you're going to put are needed on other cards. So spread them out. Again, Conor Khabib is so big, it sells itself. Doesn't even need a belt, to be honest. It's very important to note that. Those 2 guys on their own are bigger than the belt. So I actually think that the booking is smart. Now, the actual fight itself, is that smart? We could talk about that later. But I'm not surprised that if you look at it at first glance, you're like, this isn't the most loaded fight card of all time. It actually makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. All right, back to Curtis Blaydes, coming off that big win over Alistair Overeem. He wants Stipe Miocic. He wants to get a few things off his chest. Let's go to the magic of Skype and say hello to Curtis Razor Blaydes. There he is. Curtis, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. It's good to talk to you again. You have been very vocal over the past week or so. Why all of a sudden? Why are you so vocal now?
I'm just realizing this is how the game is done. This is how business in the UFC gets done. You gotta be vocal. The squeaky wheel gets greased, and I'm trying to be pretty squeaky right now because I feel like I do deserve, if not a title shot, then at least a title contention fight. The only guy available is Steve.
Is that something you're comfortable with, or are you kind of realizing, having an epiphany, like, look, the nice guys are going to finish last in this organization, in this sport, so I have to do this even though I don't really want to do this?
Pretty much. It is out of character for me. I don't really like to have to call anyone out. I feel like it should be based off rankings, but like I said, I'm learning rankings aren't really the determining factor for who gets to fight who. It's really popularity. Like, what can you do for the company? And I'm trying to show that I can bring in fans. I can be an attractive fighter, and if given the opportunity, I know I can put it up.
You were in Las Vegas for UFC 226, right?
Yeah.
You were in the arena when Cormier fought Stipe?
Yeah, I was there.
What was going through your mind? How are you feeling when you saw Brock walk in there and then you can clearly see what's going on, what's about to happen, considering your spot, considering your 6-fight unbeaten streak, the fact that you're just coming off a win over Alistair Overeem. What's going through your mind as you're watching this unfold?
Like, as it's happening, as I noticed Brock was he was right next to Dana White, so that right there automatically I had an idea they were going to do something. I didn't know what exactly until after the fight, but then when I watched him go in there, I knew he was going to do some dramatic call out, which he did, and then kind of took it into a little spectacle. I kind of figured all that was going to happen. Just it was a little bit of feeling like help. There's nothing I can do about it, and then just like it just sucks because I thought after Derek Lewis and Gano's fight how they looked, and I thought the door was wide open for me, and then here comes Brock, and then now I'm like in MMA like limbo right now. Really, I don't have an opponent. I have a date set. I don't really have just waiting, being very reactionary, and I just don't like it.
So it's one thing, I'm assuming, to get passed over. It's another to get passed over by a guy who technically hasn't won in 8 years and is currently on suspension for PED use. Does that make it worse in your opinion?
Yes, that is the worst part. Had UFC decided to give Stipe an automatic match, and then make me and Derek Lewis fight, I'd have been totally fine with that. That's what I thought was going to happen until I saw Brock walk in there. For it to be Brock Lesnar, like you said, a guy who hasn't had a legitimate win in 8 years, because, yeah, he beat Mark Hunt, but we kind of have to toss that one out the window of
right.
PED use. It's just, like, I get it. He brings in fans. He's a draw. He's a name. Everyone wants to watch him. I wish we were back in the time when the best of the best fought the best of the best, and it wasn't like, oh, I want to fight this guy because he's gonna bring in most money. It was about, I want to fight this guy because he's right there with me. He's considered the best. Also, I want to prove I'm the best. I wish it was like that, but it's not, and I doubt it ever goes back to being like that. So I'm just have to get with the program.
I see a lot of people when talking about this criticize Daniel Cormier, and I'm wondering how you feel about this. Do you understand? Okay, they're offering him Brock Lesnar. He's going to make a ton of money. He's about to retire. He says, take it and run. Let's be honest, I do the same. Or are you on the side of the fence that says, as a champion, you have a responsibility to fight the top contenders, the guy who earned it, the guy who climbed the ladder, so to speak? Where do you fall as far as Cormier specifically is concerned?
That was a hard one because I was taught to never judge another man's pockets. So like, you can't use the argument, oh, he's already a millionaire. He ain't enough. We don't know how much he's made. We don't know how much he has. We don't know what bills he has to pay and all that. So can I blame him for jumping at a huge financial opportunity? No. It's bad timing. I had this happen last year when I wasn't in title contention. It wouldn't be that big of a deal for me, but it's a big deal because like Brock jumping in slows down progression. My story, my legacy has to take a back seat to Brock Lesnar now, and I feel that's a little disrespectful because he hasn't earned it. He hasn't. Like, if we were doing this on based off merit, he wouldn't even be in conversation. It would be me, Stipe, Derek Lewis, and Volkov. It would be us. But if you want to just talk about who could bring in the most fans, then yeah, Brock Lesnar wins that landslide. Or it's just I've accepted what this is now, and I moved on. I'm moving on to the Stipe fight. I know he's not getting the title shot. I'm not getting. So why me and you fight that way after they do have the title fight? The next guy's already ready. We don't have to have another debate, another battle, and make us wait even longer. I'd rather handle it right now than the winner and wait. I feel like that just makes the most sense.
Okay, I will get to Stipe in just 1 second, but there was reports after your win over Alistair that they were thinking of doing you versus Alexander Volkov in Russia. Did that ever get to you? Was that ever a thing?
Yeah, but at the time, I had an MCL sprain, and I had some tearing in my quadriceps. So I knew I wouldn't be ready for that fight given the timeline.
Okay.
So yeah, I wasn't. It wasn't that it was a Volkov or that it was in Moscow. It was just I didn't believe that my body would be enough, and I didn't want to risk taking a loss because my body wasn't ready. It just wasn't worth it.
How are you feeling now?
Oh, my knee's good now. I've been back to practice for 2 weeks now,
Okay.
but that's not enough to be ready for
Sure.
Alexander Volkov. That's not enough.
So you want Stipe Miocic. You just explained why. What do you think the chances are of getting Stipe? What are you hearing from behind the scenes?
I'm hearing it's like 50-50 because really the ball's in his court. I'm basically waiting for him to realize that. Well, not realize because I'm sure he already has realized, but make a decision. Like it's either he fights me in November or maybe even December. I would fight him whenever he felt comfortable, just to make a compromise. But because I know that's a better option than him having to wait until April or March. I think it's a better option for the both of them. I'm just waiting on him. That's all.
My understanding is that the UFC is interested in this. Are you hearing that as well?
Yeah, I'm hearing that they want this to happen also. I think it's a good matchup. I think it's a good fight, and obviously I agree.
What do you think happens? You think he takes it?
I think so. I hope so. I think I'm hoping a lot more. I think.
Yeah.
I think so. If he has the right people with him, they break down the situation to him. He's gonna get paid regardless. Oh, it can't be an issue of money. I doubt that. I think it's more so he knows it is a risk because he could potentially lose, and if he loses, then the chance of him getting back into title contention they drop drastically. Well, I understand that also, but at the same time, you're one of the baddest men on the planet. I acknowledge that. The world acknowledges that. So you and me fighting, it should be an issue. Like you're one of the baddest men on the planet ever. Like I'm just a 27-year-old uh, trying to make a name for myself, and I feel like this is a great fight. He beats me. He solidifies himself as the next guy going for the belt, which is what he wants. He solidifies it. If we don't fight, it's not a guarantee that after DC and Brock Lesnar after they have their fight, it's not a guarantee that he's going to get the next title shot. It's not guaranteed. If he fights me and then if he beats me, I feel like it should be guaranteed.
Is there any part of you that is somewhat sympathetic towards him because he is the winningest heavyweight champion of all time, and he was the champion for what, a little
Yeah,
over 2 years? Like, he should just get an immediate rematch. Is there a part of you that, if you remove yourself from the equation, you understand where he's coming from?
yeah. Like I said, it wouldn't bother me if they gave him the immediate rematch. That wouldn't bother me because there's logic behind it. He did defend the belt the most times, and up until that, I don't want to. Up until the eye poke, I think it was pretty back and forth. And after the eye poke, I think it messed him up a little bit. I'm not gonna blame the eye poke for him losing, but I think it changed the momentum a little bit. And I think, yeah, you could definitely make a legit argument for him getting an immediate rematch. I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't argue with anyone if that was the case.
What was your reaction when you found out that Derek Lewis and Alexander Volkov, who, as you said, are kind of in that that same orbit that you are in right now, are the co-main event to arguably the biggest fight of all time? They're not getting pay-per-view points or anything like that, but that is a massive platform. A lot of people are going to watch that fight, whether they care to watch it or not. It's the one fight right before Conor versus Khabib. I would imagine that you would want to be in that spot too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would have been dope, but um, I didn't think previously. I had heard that Derek Lewis had issues with his back,
Yeah.
so I didn't even consider calling him out because honestly, I feel like between the two, between Derek Lewis and uh, Stipe, I think Derek is the better fight for me because he's not a grappler. He doesn't have the best cardio in the world. He does have heavy hands, but overall, I would have preferred to fight him. But I didn't even consider him as I had heard that he had issues with his back. He would be out for who knows long. So I went straight to Stipe.
Yeah.
So hearing that he's gonna fight Volkov, I was like, I feel like I was given bad information, and I should have went with my first instinct and called him out. But it's going to be a good fight because there's no way he goes out and and performs like he did his last fight. He has to go out there and be aggressive. And I know Volkov is going to be aggressive because he knows that he needs this to also solidify him. We're all out here looking to build our argument to strengthen our argument for number one title contender. And like I said, the race is between me, Stipe, Derek Lewis, and Alexander Volkov. And that's why also when I heard that Derek Lewis and Volkov were going to fight, to me, it pretty much like meant that Stipe and I would be forced to
Mm.
fight. But who else is he going to fight? He's not going to go against Ngannou, and that's the only other guy. So I thought it would help push him to accept my fight off.
Well, let's see what happens. I appreciate you doing this, Curtis. Good job getting your word out there, your voice out there, and hopefully for your sake you get the fight that you're looking for and then you get that title shot. Congrats on your success as of late, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
There he is, Curtis Blaydes, stopping by. Razor Blaydes making a strong case for him versus Stipe Miocic next. UFC hasn't fully committed to the DC Brock Lesnar fight, but if you saw what happened in the cage after 226, it seems like that's where they want to go. It seems like that's where everyone wants to go. And so Stipe, as Curtis just mentioned, has to come to that realization, unless he's just going to sit out for a very long time. Why not fight me, especially with Derek Lewis and Volkov already booked? So we shall see. Interesting times at heavyweight. It's an interesting time no matter how you slice it in the world of the UFC.